Doamnelor și domnilor, bine v-am regăsit! Suntem astăzi în satul Gura Bîcului, localitate aflată în zona de securitate, în nemijlocită apropiere de regiunea transnistreană. Discutăm astăzi cu excelența sa, Ambasadoarea Uniunii Europene în Republica Moldova, Iwona Piórko, și Ambasadorul Poloniei în țara noastră, Tomasz Kobzdej. Această discuție va avea loc în limba engleză, ulterior va fi tradusă special pentru dumneavoastră. Dear ambassadors, first of all, thank you for accepting this discussion. It's honorable for us as a regional TV station to be part of this interview with you, and I think it will be a very good discussion for our audience. First of all, Excellencies, we know that you were appointed at the beginning of the September. Before this, I've seen you in regions, firstly in Ștefan Vodă, after that in Hagimus, Căușeni, and now you are here in Gura Bîcului and Nenoi. How do you see Moldova? And why you decided to start your mission in our country with visiting regions?
Bună ziua! Thank you very much for having us on your show. If I had the opportunity to start again, I would start the same way, visiting regions, districts, different villages. Although I love Chișinău, I've been living there now for a short while. I do think it's important we reach all corners of the Republic of Moldova. It was a bit of a coincidence, I have to say, because when I arrived to Moldova, it was the day when the Commissioner for Agriculture and Food, Hansen, visited your country. So I simply had the pleasure to accompany him to visit fruit producers, winemakers in Ștefan Vodă region mainly. And it was very important to see how important this is part of life. Traditions, cultures, attachment to land, very, very important. So I decided, and this was part of my welcome message to the citizens of the Republic of Moldova, that during my 4 years mandate I will visit every single region of the country, and to do so I need to start quickly. So this is our first regional so-called Team Europe visit. I will do it with different European Union member states ambassadors, and Ambassador of Poland kindly agreed to do this first joint visit. What I think of Moldova by now is that its people are extremely warm, the hospitality is great, and you feel really at home very quickly here.
Are people from Moldova as warm as Polish people?
It's similar, I would say. It's similar.
That's for Ambassador Kobzdej.
I see lots of similarities.
And now you are here in Gura Bîcului. What are you doing today here? And how do you feel here? Because as I mentioned, we are in the security zone near the Transnistrian region. Do you feel safe here?
Very safe, extremely safe today, because today we participated in an absolutely wonderful event organized by Minister of Interior of Moldova and the Polish Solidarity Fund. It was the Voluntary Firefighters Festival, so it's difficult to find safer place in the Republic of Moldova than this village to today. Absolutely wonderful event, lots of positive energy, lots of enthusiasm from the side of the volunteer firefighters. We all talked about the role and importance of firefighters in the general state system of resilience. So it was very interesting and funny at some point. So great day we spent together.
I've seen today Polish people were near Moldovan's firefighters.
Yes, we also hosted some firefighters from the both from the state service and volunteer firefighters from Poland. So there is a great and long-standing cooperation between firefighters in my country and Moldovans.
And today also I heard from Polish people that in Poland, in the kindergartens, there is an education system with kids that they learned about how to save a life or some exercises. Do you think that is very important to start with early ages?
It's happening in Moldova. Today we saw kids, very small kids, practicing on the phantoms and first aid exercises and so on. So it's going to be implemented in the Republic of Moldova as well. It's very important to start this education at the very early stage. And we are happy and proud that firefighters are the ones who actually conduct these projects in both countries, cooperating, as I mentioned, very closely.
Madam Ambassador, you started your mission in the middle of the election campaign. It was a period with a lot of disinformation. Tell me, please, do you believe that our country have done everything to protect our democracy?
I think it's important to be aware that democracies are under attack worldwide. It's not only in Moldova, although Moldova has undergone a very serious pressure during this parliamentary electoral campaign in all kinds of ways, from the Russian Federation and its proxies. You've mentioned disinformation, there was even buying of votes, cyber attacks, a lot of other instances of economic pressure, etc. And I think the authorities, but also very much so civil society, media, and people themselves have done everything they could, and they proved by the way these elections were carried out in a calm atmosphere, very integral, very safe, despite all this pressure, and the results speak for themselves. People have chosen prosperity, European path, independence, freedom. So I can only congratulate the citizens of the Republic of Moldova for that, and I would say even more, the authorities, the civil society, media here can actually teach a lot of lessons from these elections to other countries, be it in the European Union, neighborhood or elsewhere, because unfortunately many election processes worldwide are under attack from autocratic regimes.
In the same time, we know that the European Union helped us to become more resilient against this disinformation. Mr. Ambassador, Poland has a very solid system against Russian hybrid attacks. Which element of this system do you think could be applied in the Republic of Moldova?
I'm not very enthusiastic towards the expression hybrid threats, because when people start to talk about hybrid threats, usually they think of the cyber issues, disinformation and so on, forgetting that for Moldova, for Poland and the whole region, we are exposed for the very conventional, old-school threats. Let's remember that the missiles and drones are flying over our heads. The Russian missiles with nuclear warheads are aimed at our cities. Part of, as you mentioned at the very beginning of our conversation, or at least between lines, part of your country is occupied by foreign military troops. So let's remember about very conventional threats we face. Which elements can be implemented? Actually, all of them. There are different layers of resilience and different elements of the security systems. I do agree that the Polish system is relatively well established, and that's why Polish experts are present in the Republic of Moldova in many domains. In the cyber domain, our experts on disinformation cooperate very closely to Moldovan experts. The the authorities of Republic of Moldova are doing a great job consolidating the security systems, the creation, establishment of the National Crisis Center is a very good example, and I'm very happy and proud knowing that people who are responsible for creation of these structures are already in touch with the Polish counterparts. So it's happening, and Polish know-how is being transferred in this domain, I can assure you, and our viewers.
Excellencies, you both are from Poland, and we know that Poland has always supported EU enlargement. And tell me, please, in the current geopolitical context, how does Poland accelerate Moldova's EU integration process? How can Poland help us? You mentioned about this support against disinformation and for reforms, but how at this moment Poland can support us to accelerate the reforms?
Yeah, but let's remember about the past. Nowadays, everyone is a great supporter of the enlargement of the European Union and accession of Moldova, but it wasn't the case a couple of years ago. So this is my constant thesis that the success of Moldova to become the candidate country is also, in a way, a success of Polish diplomacy, because Polish diplomats were very active on that, lobbying for Moldova in Brussels and in European capitals. We, the Poles, actually are the best partners, in my opinion, to teach, in a way, Moldovans how to negotiate now, how to prepare themselves to the integration process, because we passed this stage. We've got still experts and negotiators who are available, who can share the knowledge. It's happening. That's why Moldovans participate in the trainings organized by Polish institutions. That's why our advisors try to transfer the knowledge about the European Union processes here. Let's also remember that the time of the Polish presidency in the European Union was actually a very good time for Republic of Moldova. The presidency has a very special role in the European Union system, but very important for Moldova decisions, including the one on the growth plan, wouldn't be possible without the very active engagement of the Polish presidency. So I've got the feeling that we proved that we are a really good partner and friend of Moldova.
You are right that we are both from Poland, but we are here in very different roles. Ambassador Kobzdej is ambassador of Poland. I'm ambassador of the European Union. That, of course, also involves Poland, but other member states as well. And I would just add one thing. First of all, the Republic of Moldova deserves big congratulations for just passing the very important stage of screening. That sounds very technical. But it's an important stage, is about looking at all your legislation and how it compares to EU legislation. It involves looking at 100,000 pages of national law, and you've done it in record time. But the point I'm trying to make, it is very important to negotiate well, to be trained, and everything that has been mentioned. But in the end of the day, what counts is the quality of your reforms. In order to negotiate, you need to have, the fundamentals right? So I think that's where the focus should lie, and there where it lies, of course, and we support this very much. Now, to answer your question, why the European Union needs Moldova, in a way, today, absolutely amazing day, is an answer to it. You see people that are so resilient, so courageous. You see it at the firefighters festival, volunteers that dedicate their time, risk their lives for neighbors, to protect each other and so on. but you show the same courage in a process which normally shouldn't necessitate courage, which is elections. It should be a very normal, regular process, but actually voting in this country at some instances necessitated courage because you had all that pressure. And you showed to the whole European Union and the world, you showed how resilient you are, how democratic you are, how determined you are. And that's something that has been seen. Moldova has been seen because of this determination, and this determination, resilience and courage is something we need in the European Union. So that's already one good reason. Another, obviously, security. We are all living in a broader region. We have brutal Russian war of aggression against Ukraine. More countries we are together, reformed, resilient, stronger we are. It's quite obvious. So there is, and I think Ambassador is right that it was not the case years ago. There's more and more understanding of this fact that bigger, stronger union we are, better for all of us. And then there is, of course, obvious economic potential, agriculture, tourism, many other areas, energy, environment, where we can work, and we are already working together to benefit, to provide benefits for both citizens of the Republic of Moldova as future EU citizens and the current EU citizens. I could go on on this subject why
Mr.
European Union needs
Madam
Moldova.
Ambassador says that our customs, our traditions are very important, and Europeans believe that we will have a place with our customs and tradition in the European Union. Do you think that there's myths about losing our traditions, losing our...
I don't see such a risk in the European Union. It's a very democratic and very pluralistic organization, and there is a space for each tradition, for each culture. Actually, I after some time I spent here in the Republic of Moldova, I know that European Union will be culturally richer with Moldovan traditions. I don't see any kind of risk for culture of Moldova, and at the same time I feel the Europe needs a sort of new blood you can provide.
Also, Madam Ambassador, you mentioned about finishing the screening process. We are waiting for starting the negotiation. Which areas do you think will be most challenging for our country and in the EU negotiation process? And giving also another country's experience.
You know, I wouldn't like to speculate on specific areas, but it's like building a house, and we are in a rather rural environment. Almost everyone here probably, has a house built by themselves at some point. It's about fundamentals. If you don't have that right, the house will fall. The same with the accession process. It's about justice, freedom, anti-corruption, public administration reform. All this underpins all the rest. You don't have a healthy health system or education, etc., without these fundamentals right. So I would really mention them as the most important starting point. And if you want to look into the specific of other areas, every year the European Commission publishes so-called enlargement report, where we really go into details. What still needs to be done, etc. And this is going to be published at the beginning of November for all candidate countries, including Moldova, so you can see more details. And about the questions about risk to lose tradition, I cannot imagine how someone who once danced hora or ate placenta can ever think that there is a risk there, rather the opposite. So I wouldn't have any worries there.
But many politicians also, but experts too, says that justice reforms will be the greatest challenge for our country. Would the justice be an obstacle for Moldovan European path? We should move quickly in this direction, but could the justice stop us to be integrated?
I think if, you know, I was not here at that time, but as far as I remember, justice reform came as a demand from the people, first of all. This is not, it's true that in some countries, justice reform only came to the fore as a pre-accession condition. That was not the case in the Republic of Moldova, if I remember well. That's how you started your reform process. People demanded justice and accountability. So it's not really for the EU accession process that you do it. It happens to be important in this process as well, but you do it above all for yourselves, for your children. And I don't think the Moldovan citizens would want anything else but this reform to be accomplished well and not in too distant future. So I wish your country this very much, and that indeed will help your accession process on top of it.
Mr. Ambassador, Poland is a strategic economic partner of our country, of the Republic of Moldova. We export a lot of goods there and import also from Poland. What should Moldova develop there, and what kind of lessons can we learn from Polish investors or from Polish economical agents to develop our country?
Yeah, it's true that trade cooperation is at the distant level. There is interest among Polish businessmen in Moldova and vice versa, but the Polish market is quite important for Moldovan producers. If we look at the fields where our economies can cooperate, I wouldn't say here nothing very innovative, because looking at the structure of Moldovan and Polish economy, understanding that Moldova is an agricultural country, plus the digitalization of this country should be a driver of socio-economic development, I can only say that combination of the quality of your agricultural products and Polish know-how on manufacturing would be very beneficiary for all. The same with the digital agenda. Poland offers solutions in e-health, e-banking, e-commerce that are absolutely top of what Europe has. These are very natural areas of Polish-Moldovan economic cooperation. But trade is one thing, but you also mentioned the investors.
Yes.
So can I?
There are not so many Polish investors.
True. There is interest in, and now I can refer to what was said a while ago about negotiations and pre-accession, let's say, conditions. Businessmen, foreign business, need the good business climate to invest money, to invest their private money from their private pockets. And what does positive business climate mean? First of all, justice. And without real reform of justice system and justice sector, Moldova cannot expect big investments from the European Union countries and from other states, which was mentioned actually by Commissioner Kos when she was here in September. She said, "Do you want investments? Please remember that justice is absolutely the access to the free, transparent cards is conditions for investors to invest."
I would like to ask you if you want to comment the affirmation of our Christina Gerasimov 2 days ago. She said that in 2028 Moldova will be ready to be part of the European Union with Transnistrian region. Do you think that it will be possible for us to do this?
I have not seen this exact expression, but of course what we can say that reintegration of the Transnistrian region is important. We've had recent statements of the presidents in this context, and we are all awaiting indeed the plans in this direction of the new government that will soon be sworn in. It's an issue that we are definitely watching very, very closely.
In the same time, people ask politicians when we will live better, when the salary starts to grow, and giving an example of Poland, when the level of life starts to grow.
It's very difficult to compare. I wouldn't like to speculate because each situation of each state in the different moment is different. So EU is a bit different story, but it used to be 20 years ago when we joined. But one thing is certain, and the Polish case is a very good example for all citizens of Moldova who are thinking of the future. Our wages were tripled. The GDP is much bigger than it used to be. So membership, but not just membership, but all the reforms implemented thanks to the membership in the European Union help to develop our society and economy. And I absolutely agree. Objectively, Poland is a very good case to study because the Poland case is the one described in the handbooks of the economy as the success story.
I very often get this question, when will this and this happen? Let's look at the current situation. Just 1 week ago, Moldova, or SEPA entered into force into Moldova, single euro payment area. This is a very tangible thing. Many of you have families living in EU member states. People sending money there or back were paying quite high commissions. Now it's a couple of euros. This is a very tangible, benefit for single families. And look at the months we are talking. If you look at the businesses, and companies, etc. People can travel visa-free, etc., etc. The market of 400 million people is open, mostly to a large extent, to your goods, etc. Then there is benefits on the way, which are less tangible but very clear. I visited today many EU-funded projects. For instance, we were talking about firefighters. We are funding new firefighter stations. You have currently in your country 25. Thanks to our support, you have 35. We are renovating 10 of them. We are training people. It's saving lives. It's very tangible, actually.
Exactly.
I visited a solar panel farm in Măreni. Again, this is, energy efficiency and resilience. They are, thanks to this, able to save energy for all the public institutions and even street lights. So it's safer for people walking in the streets. These are very tangible things. And then you have those that are maybe the least tangible somehow, but the most important, and we've talked about them, is justice, is institutions that are not corrupt, is all that big reform efforts that will change people's lives. So there are things that will happen over time and only in New York City, even some years after. But there are things very tangible that are already at your disposal.
But comparing with some years ago, when people from the Republic of Moldova felt that the European Union support us just by money, for example, for projects, now people feel that they speak not just about money, they speak for European values, they are speaking for freedom, for freedom of speech and so on. The perception is changing, and this is very important way. But in the same time, I would like to ask you about this path to become a part of the EU in 2030. Some politicians says that we will sign the treaty in 2028. Looking at the example of the European Union countries, just Baltic countries could achieve this goal in 3 years. How can you see it is a good period of time for us? It's a reasonable one?
Let's remember that Moldova is a relatively small country, but not too small. It's bigger than many members of the European Union. Very often I hear that Moldova is small. It's in a way it's a fake. It's a average size of the EU members. So yes, the history of the Baltic states is a very good case to study. Please, I do recommend treat your size as an advantage. Actually, so it's much easier to integrate society and economy of size of the Republic of Moldova than, for example, 38 million Poland. So a couple of years, it's quite realistic. I think ambitious but realistic perception, and the deputy prime minister is deputy prime minister. So if she says, she knows.
Is a realistic goal for you?
The accession process is a merit-based process. It really depends on the speed and pace of reforms. You have all the potential to be quick and thorough with these reports. You said yourself, there is continuity in political terms after these elections. So I believe the new government will have all the tools and instruments in its power to indeed carry out the necessary reforms across the board. And we as the European Union will support this process as much as we can. So I am optimistic, but as I said, it's a process you own, depends on you.
And I'm having just two questions. One of it is about Constitutional Court of Moldova, who validated the mandate of the deputies. And what are your expectations from the next parliament, from the next parliamentaries?
I cannot comment too much on the domestic political developments of Republic of Moldova. Definitely we all see and know that the parliament that is going to be created in a moment will be a bit more colorful than the one we knew from the past. But what is good for partners, the European Union and Poland, we see the possibility of continuation of the reforms in the Republic of Moldova, and consequently very strong partnership between EU, Poland and Moldova. So this is my point on that.
And Madam Ambassador, the EU expectations?
I believe vast majority of the citizens of the Republic of Moldova, that as expressed by now in your constitution, you will drive energetically towards the EU integration goal. That you will carry out all the necessary reforms, all what's needed. I think citizens count on that, and we will be there supporting. I think you've made a very, very important point that this is, yes, it is about financial support, and let's not forget it's immense. We are talking about unprecedented EU-Moldova growth plan of 1.9 billion euro. This is potentially, it's possible to double your economy in 10 years. It's really, really big story if well used. But I think you've made a very important point. It's also about society, political culture, mentality. We are sharing the same values. We believe in the same freedoms for our citizens, in independence, in building prosperity for our kids. As simple as it sounds. So I think our expectations are just as expectations of your own citizens.
Yes, and the people from Moldova, our citizens, demonstrated that they want that the country become a member of the EU. And we are waiting you in regions, and thank you for these visits. It's very important when people are looking at you, when the people can give you a warm hand, and they not are looking at the ambassadors just on TV, but also in the villages, in districts, in the region. A big thank you for this interview, and thank you that you are opening for our citizens and you support us as a country. We want that the country will become more democratic, and in the and the path of the European Union will be continued and will be done. Doamnelor și domnilor, vă reamintesc că astăzi am discutat cu excelența sa, Ambasadoarea Uniunii Europene în Republica Moldova, Iwona Piórko, și Ambasadorul Poloniei în țara noastră, Tomasz Kobzdej. Eu, Renata Lupocescu, vă mulțumesc pentru atenție. La revedere!